So as our story begins, you will be on a ship with your best friend. I haven't made my character yet, so I will probably be a cleric. Probably a human cleric, so I can provide you healing whenever you just go in and start tanking and going ham. But you are settling in for a long journey to the province of Cyrodiil that we see here. We are going to be heading to the town of Anvil, right on the coast of the Abetian Sea. Now, right before you and I departed, we decided to stop by in a local tavern to get some drinks and talk about the ongoing quest that we are about to partake in. And as you look around at the table, I'm obviously across from you, and the tavern's bustling with some fanfare and general conversation. Everyone's having a great time. It is technically, midday, so the sun is shining through the stained glass windows, and everyone seems to be having a great time until you take one big swig back, and all of a sudden, when you lower your cup to the table, everyone is gone, and you are met with the sound of silence. What do you do?
So everybody's gone and it's quiet?
It's quiet. I was sitting right across from you having a good time, and then all of a sudden, when you put down your tankard, you took a big swig, you put down your tankard, and all of a sudden you look up and everyone is gone. The entire tavern is empty. To your left, there is a stairway that goes up to the top of the inn that is shared. You have the front door to your right, and the tables are empty. The glasses are left on the table, and you get an eerie feeling. So what would you like to do? And as you play, think about if you were actually in this situation. What would you do? Would you look around? Would you investigate? Would you go upstairs? So just sort of put your mind in this character's head. Put yourself in Bra's shoes. What would Bra do if everyone just outright disappeared?
I'd look around and go out the front door, probably.
Okay, so look around, roll an investigation check. So you'll take your D20 here, and you'll roll that, and go over here to your character sheet, and you have a -1 to investigation. So you'll take what you roll and subtract 1 from it, and tell me the result. Alright, so following the dice, it is a 15 minus 1, so a 14, not bad. With a 14, you stand up, you look around, you kick over some chairs, and people are in fact gone, and you want to go out the front door, you said?
Yeah.
As you open the front door, the sky is red, blood red, with lightning flying through it, and you look down the streets, and there are corpses laying all over, 20, 30 bodies, and you see me lying in front of you with a dagger in my chest, and I reach up and say, "Help," and you snap out of your dream with me standing in front of you over the boat. Bruh, wake up, we're here. And you find yourself arriving in the city of Anvil. So the city of Anvil is a coastal town, as you can see. We will be pulling up as boat number 23 here. As we settle in, the sea air hits you. You hear seagulls squawking in the distance, and they lower the gangplank down to this dock right here. And as you and I walk down the path towards the gangplank, there is a man in armor, a yellow top with the crest of Anvil on it, and he looks up to you and says, "Good morning, sir. What brings you to Cyrodiil this fine day?"
So we're traveling to Anvil, or we're
Yeah,
already
we've
here?
just arrived at Anvil. We're this boat right here, and as you and I are getting off of the gangplank, there's an Imperial Guard there with some papers. Looks like customs, just making sure that people coming into the town are on the up and up, and he
Right,
asks
but what are we doing here?
whatever the hell we want. So why do you want to why do you think that we came to this place as a barbarian sailor?
I don't know, trade?
Seeking trade, riches, sure. So what do you say to the guard?
We're here for trade, bro.
For trade. That's cool. Oh, trade. What wares do you deal in? I wouldn't mind stopping by a shop if you're a traveling merchant. Although you look pretty strong for a traveling merchant, I do have to say.
I got a 2 in animal handling, right? So
Yeah. So, do you deal in exotic creatures?
yeah, sure.
Cool. So, what do you tell the guard?
What? So like, are we a partnership or
Yeah,
like me
and
and
like
you?
the way it'll be is I'll sort of be like your bodyguard
Sidekick.
or sidekick. Um, in order to maintain fairness of the game, because I know creatures, trap locations, dungeons, where everything is, I'll just be there to back you up in combat. So if there's something you would like me to do, you tell me, hey, you go on ahead or something like that. But I'll pretty much remain silent because I have to be everybody else.
Are
So
you is this like a storyboard? Like in a book?
I'm
Like in
the
the guide that you have there?
the places are, and I'm using some of the quests from the game, and then I've got some ones in my head that I want to send us on or lead us down. So I'm pretty familiar with the lay of the land and the people that we're probably going to run into, and then for my own flavor, I'll throw in some extra stuff.
Gotcha.
So this guard that we're talking to behind the curtain never actually existed in the game, but he's here now because when you get people coming on a ship coming from across the ocean, you kind of want to
hmm
see what they're all about.
hmm
So he's there, and he asked you if what do you deal in, and you say,
Exotic animals.
oh, very nice. Do you do like wolves and tigers, or do you do much bigger creatures? Like what kind of creatures do you work on?
Mind your damn business.
Roll an intimidation check. So this is where you take this d20 and you take it a roll, and then you add 1 due to your intimidation bonus. So a 5. As a 5, he says, I don't know who do you think you are, friend, but remember, this is my city, so you'd be best on your way if you know what's good for you. So what do you do?
I mean, we can just walk past him,
Yep,
right?
you can just walk on by. You
Okay.
you can play it straight. Remember, in this game, you can do anything you want to do, but
All right.
consequences will follow. So if you didn't like his tone and you punched him square in the face, you can expect the other guards to show up very quickly. So we'll
Ugh.
try to avoid such
Just
things as
walk.
those. Yeah, just walk away. So as you walk away and you enter the town of Anvil, you notice a well-kept tree in the center of the plot here. You've got some decent folks and townhouses here. There is a large chapel here, number 18, that towers 4 or 5 stories tall, concrete, stained glass windows, the works. But Anvil seems to be a port town that is based in trade. There's a few weapon shops here. There's a magic guild and a fighters guild. If you're in the scheme of making money with your fists, the Fighters Guild might not be a bad place to start. Or we can leave Anvil and head on down the Gold Road towards, say, the Imperial City. It is up to you. Where do you want to go? What shop or place do you want to visit? What are you in the mood for?
You said this is a chapel
Yeah, there's one
and
in
you
every city, but this is the chapel here. We have walked through the gate here and standing about here in this courtyard. So to your right, you see this
what is
massive.
what's there to do at the chapel?
So at the chapel, you walk in and you see a few people praying. At the center of the altar, you see a small dragon standing there, and the patron of this chapel is there, and he notices you walk in. Hail, friend. Would you like to pray, or do you seek information? How can I help you today?
Yeah, seek information.
Seek information. He says, newcomer then. Well, Anvil being the port town that it is, I see my fair share of newcomers. So here in this fine town, you can check out he sort of like taps on your large biceps and says, as a strong looking fellow, I imagine the Fighters Guild would be a good place if you were in the market of making money. Certainly they're always looking for some good people who can handle themselves under pressure. If you are the magic type, the finger wagglers, the Mages Guild can sell you spells or give you magical items. There's some fine weapon shops. Morvane's Peacemakers down by the tree sells some interesting wares if you're in the mood for a new weapon. And there's an unruly bunch of smugglers down on the docks that, you didn't hear this from me, the town guard would love if they just sort of disappeared, if you get my meaning.
Let's go check out the smugglers.
The smugglers. So we walk back out of the gate, and there at boat 24, you can see a ship. So on the side of boat 24, as we're standing here on the dock and seagulls fly overhead, you see on the side of ship 24 there is a name, the Sea Tub, and there's two people up on deck walking around. You can see them loading fresh cargo right off the dock. They don't pay us any mind, of course, as they're going about their business, and that is the boat that the man in the chapel had pointed you to. So how would you like to approach these smugglers?
Ask them where they're from.
Cool. So as you near the gangplank, you walk up toward the dock, and not very many people come up to the sea tub that aren't a part of the crew, and one of the men on the top deck, halt! Who goes there?
It's Hobbs and Bruh.
Hobbs and Bruh. So they look at you and they see, you're a pretty imposing figure, and they see me to the side, your dutiful cleric, just sort of giving him the stink eye, and he's like, well, you've got no business here unless you want to talk to the captain. So if I were you, I'd turn around and pretend you don't see a thing, friend.
Maybe I want to talk to the captain and be a part of this.
Oh. Okay, roll a persuasion check. So take your d20, and you will be adding +1 to your roll. This is to see how well he likes you. 13 + 1, okay. He's like, all right, you look like you can hold yourself in a fight. Follow me. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Cool, so you and I walk up onto the sea tub, and he leads us down a trapdoor. As we walk through the depths of the bowels of the ship, we can see the containers. You get the smell of rancid urine off in the corner. It looks like these guys don't take good care of their surroundings. You see a few sheep actually off to the side, and they baa as we walk to the captain's quarters. He gives a rap on the door. Captain, I think there's someone that would like to meet you. And you hear some rustling, and all right, one moment. And the door creaks open, and you see the face of a human male, very well dressed. I mean, he is to the nines. He's got his petticoat, he's got ruffles around the neck, he's got a tricorn hat, as most sailors do, and he sees our good friend standing there, and you and I imposing down the hall, and he opens his door and invites us in. As we walk in, his bed is very neatly made, hospital corners, 45 degrees on the sides, very tight. He's got a desk to the left that is one of those roll-down desks, locked, of course, and his desk is through this small doorway, and the back window of the ship is behind him, and he sits behind his desk, and he says, so, up for some work? It looks like you can handle yourself in a tussle?
Yeah, I mean, that's... if the price is right, yeah, we're here for work.
Well, as in our trade, gold comes our way, let's put it that way. I'm not going to lie, we've fallen on some hard times here recently. We haven't exactly got the scores that we would like, but we're always in league for some new blood. In fact, my name is Captain Bazone Antium, at your service, and he extends his hand and reaches across the desk for yours.
And then we shake his hand.
Awesome. So he shake hands. He's got a nice firm handshake, and he sits back in his chair and he reclines a bit, and he's like, so what were your names again?
Hobbs and Bruh.
Hobbs and Bruh. And he takes out his inkwell and he dips the pen in his ink, and he scribbles on a sheet of paper, Hobbs and Bruh. Is that B-R-U? Never mind. He scribbles down, Bruh. And he rubs his hands together and he smiles and he says, so what's your skill set? Are you a breaking and entering type guy? Are you more of a confront and ask questions later? Are you a subterfuge? Like, how do you normally operate, if you don't mind me asking? Because in our line of work, if we just went through and just punched everyone in the face and ran off, we'd be more like pirates, and my good sir, am not a pirate. There is a difference between a pirate and a smuggler, and I tend to think myself as a higher standing gentleman.
I mean, I have a decently high charisma, so...
So, yeah.
Just a sweet talker, I guess.
So discretion then, that's good, that's good. I think you can fit in. Excellent, excellent. So when are you available to work? Can you start today? There are some jobs around town that we were going to get to, but we could sort of see this as an initiation, if you will.
Yeah, availability's now.
Availability is now. Outstanding. So he very quickly ruffles through his paperwork on the desk, and he looks at a manifest. Usually, experienced players would say something like, I try to peek over and I try to look at what he's reading. As a new player, just keep in mind, if there's anything that you would like to do during any of this, let me know. We can make checks for it, or to see if it goes unnoticed, or if there's something that you would like to do instead, please let me know. This is your game that I'm running here. So do you try to peek at what the captain is reading through, or do you just play your cards straight and let it be?
Yeah, we'll take a peek.
Take a peek. So roll a d20 and add a perception modifier. So this will be a +2 because you are proficient in this skill. We'll see if you can catch a glimpse. 12 + 2? Okay. You see at the top, as he's flipping through very quickly, but you see Imperial City Waterfront, big old question mark, and then Leyawind Docks and Hot underline like 2 or 3 times. So you've got an idea of some cities that this ship is going to head towards, or some possible scores. So as he gets to the end of his paperwork, he says, so as you might imagine, the local Fighters Guild is a thorn in our side, as it were. The guards don't pay us too much mind. We bring money to the city. We pay our fair share, but the Fighters Guild, they're more like mercenaries. So private citizens tend to hire hired hands to stick their nose where it don't belong, and he sort of eyes you up and down. And he says, you wouldn't be one of those Fighters Guild types, would you? And the door opens behind you, and there's some nasty-looking smugglers with swords.
But yeah, I believe I am.
Your Fighters Guild? Roll deception check. That's a
9.
9 + 1, so a 10. He sort of laughs and says, no, you don't have the look of a Fighters Guild, but I appreciate you, and I appreciate your candor and your approach. Work on that. I think you could do well. But as I was saying, those Fighter Guild types, the real fighters, there's one in particular who is making his way out of town this evening. He's been a real thorn in our side, so if you might deal with him however you like, I would be greatly appreciated. His name is Marvis. He is an elf. You'll know him by his medium armor, his plate, and he points to your breastplate, and he says, like you. He's wearing your type of armor, but he's scheduled to leave this afternoon. Discretion, of course, is greatly appreciated. We don't want him murdered in the middle of the city, but if you were to make him disappear, we would be most grateful, and of course there would be a reward in it for you. Is this something that you can accommodate?
Yeah, why not?
Awesome. So he stands up, gives you a pat on the shoulder, and says, all right, I'll leave you to it. And the smugglers behind sort of usher us off the ship and down the gangplank. So, you and I have our first job for the Smugglers of the Sea Tub. What would you like to do in the meantime? It's about 10 in the afternoon. There's still some time to shop, or if you wanted to lay a trap down the road, we could do that. If you wanted to just speak to the people of the town, feel free. Or if you just wanted to abandon these guys altogether and go off on our own, that's cool too.
How are we gonna find this Marvin? Was it Marvin?
Yeah, Marvis. And he is
Marvis?
he's leaving out the main gate this evening. He is an elf, blonde hair, wearing plate mail. So he'll be taking the Gold Road, probably north out of town towards Kvatch. There's one road out of town that is the most well-traveled. We can either try to find him in town here. We could stop by the Fighters Guild, see if he happens to be there, chat him up, see what's up. Or we could just go in there and murder him amongst all of his Fighters Guild buddies. It probably won't turn out too well for us. But we have a description. Blonde elf, plate mail, Fighters Guild, leaving off the main road this afternoon.
I guess we'll go to the Fighters Guild then.
Fighters Guild. So that is door 15. As you can see, as we come up to the main courtyard here, you can see the beautifully manicured grass and a tree right here in the center. To the left, door number 8, you see a sign with an anvil and crossed swords above that says Morvain's Peacemakers. You have an idea that this is a smithy or a weapon shop. And door 15. Right there is your Fighters Guild, and as you walk to the front door above, it says Anvil Fighters Guild. Plain as day. Knock on the door. An African-American gentleman answers, bulky, like just as big as you. And he says, "Oh, hi, can I help you? Are you interested in joining the Fighters Guild by any chance?"
What does it entail?
Fighters Guild, and he sort of pats you in and leads you in. When we enter the Fighters Guild, there's a training dummy right there in the center, and it looks to be Morvain with a sword, and he's hacking at that dummy, doing some fades and some crosses and some pokes with his short sword. He looks over and sort of gives you a nod of acknowledgement. "Well, my friend, the Fighters Guild, we're here to do the dirty jobs that the town's guard won't do themselves. Whether it is serve and protect, we're bodyguards, we're escorts. If a cave is overrun with trolls, we'll take care of them. If a farmer's having trouble with the local wildlife, we take care of it. If basically, we're here to do anything that requires some muscle."
Can we ask them if they know of Marvis?
Yeah, go ahead. So what do you ask? Do you ask the African American gentleman the name of Azan? Oh, I'm sorry. Where are my manners? Hello, my name is Azan, and I run this local chapter of the Anvil Fighters Guild.
Yeah, we're actually looking for a guy.
Oh, okay. Is this a job for us, or?
I'd rather not disclose that.
Oh, fine. So can we get a description?
Goes by the name Marvis.
And right
He's
then,
an elf.
Marvis turns around and he's like, "Oh, hello. I'm Marvis. I don't believe we've met."
What if we just stab him right there?
What if we just stab him? So think this through. Put yourself in Bruh's shoes. So you're surrounded by trained, skilled mercenaries, and you are about to attack one in the middle of
I
his
personally
training.
wouldn't do this, but I just want to know what would happen.
So, real talk. Azan would draw his weapon and try to attack me and you. So would Marvis. 3 people would probably come from the rooftops. The town guard would be summoned, and we would be probably slaughtered in the middle of the Anvil Fighters Guild, unless we surrendered and then were taken to jail for high crimes of assault, possibly murder.
And then what? That ends the game pretty damn quick, or what?
Oh no, it's not over until we're dead. We could come up with some sort of jailbreak quest. Someone could break us out of prison. I can keep the game going as long as we're not dead. I will do my best. But we would be struck down fairly quickly and knocked unconscious. Let's put it that way. And if your hit points, see how you've got 13 hit points here? If they do an attack that lowers you to negative 13 hit points, then there ain't squat I can do. You're dead.
Maybe we'll ask him what he knows of the smugglers.
Sure. Feel free.
What do you know of the smugglers of, what was it, the tub?
The sea tub, yeah.
The sea tub.
And a grimace goes on his face. He's like, "Oh, those ne'er-do-wells. I can never catch them doing anything wrong. I've watched them. They've loaded their cargo. I've inspected some of their goods, but I just don't think they're that good of smugglers, if I'm brutally honest. But it pays well. For each bit of information I bring back, there's a little bit of gold for me. And they haven't hurt anyone, so it's not like they're cutthroat pirates. They're just so irritating."
What would you give me for some very valuable information pertaining to your life?
Ooh, information about the smugglers.
You know, what would you give me for information in accordance to, you know, saving your life, or giving you pertinent information to your life?
It depends on the quality of information. If it's relevant to my interests, it could pay 25 to 50 gold, depending on exactly how good and how accurate The information flies through here all the time, as you can imagine, people coming in with hearsay and secondhand information. We can't take everything at face value, but if it does prove to be a good tip, there would be financial recompense for sure.
What if I told you there was a hit on your life?
A hit? Oh, my word. Is it those Dark Brotherhood fellows? Oh, I hate those Dark Brotherhood fellows.
Well, I'll tell you if you pay us.
I tell you what. Half now, and if the information is good, I'll pay you the other half. And if it's bad, well, we'll just see what happens.
Okay, that works.
So he hands over 12 gold. So over on your character sheet, in your equipment and character notes, you can type 22 gold pieces because you started with 10. So right where my finger is, this block right here, you can type in 22 gold pieces, or 22 GP. Okay. All right, my friend, let's see the quality of your information. Who has a hit on my life?
The smugglers.
The smugglers themselves, that witty, and I assume they asked you to do it, as he gently places his hand on the hilt of his blade.
Yes, unless, of course, we could be persuaded otherwise.
Well, the fact that you haven't struck me down means that you're open to negotiation, or perhaps you're waiting for an opportune time. And he's just staring at you, like dead in the eye. He is waiting for you to make a move. Either for you to de-escalate the situation or to draw.
Wouldn't be very wise to attack here.
Well, of course not. So, even though you are a barbarian, you do have some wits about you. So, where do we go from here, good sir?
Well, what kind of projects are you working on?
His gaze sort of glances to Azan, and Azan pops up and says, well, there's a few jobs here in town, if you would be persuaded to do those instead of strike down my friend here. There's some clearing of... We've had word that there's an infestation of rats in some poor old woman's basement around other towns of Cyrodiil. I'm sure they have other work as well. There's also a caravan leaving in a few days' time that requires an escort to Kavach. That's the city on the hill just down the road. What would you be interested in, despite striking my friend?
Where are you going? Where are you leaving for tonight?
I was going to make the long, arduous journey to the Imperial City. The arena there is seeking combatants, gladiators, and I wanted to try my hand at it, to be perfectly honest. I think, and he glances at Azan, there's more money in gladiatorial games than the Fighters Guild, unfortunately.
And why did they want him dead again?
Because every time they glance out, his job has been to sort of catch them smuggling. They've caught him rooting around or sneaking about, trying to see exactly what they're smuggling, and he hasn't been able to catch them yet. So he's like that annoying neighbor who just keeps peeking over the fence, and they just want him gone. And they didn't say want him dead. They just said want him dealt with.
Well, if he's leaving, then what's the point of...
So you can see, you're starting to get an angle here. Because they didn't know he was going away to the Imperial City. Some behind-the-curtain talk right here. They didn't know that he was going to be leaving town for good.
Right, so they might just think that we...
Exactly.
did it.
Yeah, now you're thinking with portals.
We'll just say that he needs to leave immediately.
Okay, so he nods at Azan and he says, well, my contract is through this evening. If I could get some early leave from my supervisor, if I may. And Azan sort of shrugs and he says, well, there's that one job that I was going to have you do about the rats in the city, but if our new friends here would like to take that job, make some money, and let you go get yourself killed earlier, then by all means.
He should have to pay us now for giving him the good information, and then
yeah. So
we'll take his job.
Oh, so you remind him. Okay, so you let him know that he needs to pay his other half, so you can add another 12 gold to your pouch for a total of 34 gold pieces. Now you're moving on up.
Okay.
Awesome. So and he's like, well, if you ever make your way to the Imperial City, stop by the arena. If I'm fighting that day, be sure to place all of your gold on me, as I'm sure I can make you both very rich. And he sheathes his sword and walks upstairs to what you assume to be his room to gather his things. Zahn clears his throat and says, "So does that mean you're going to take the job here in town then?"
Yes.
So, in order to take the job, you have to become a member, an official member of the Fighters Guild. You'll get some perks, some recognition in all Fighters Guilds around Cyrodiil. All you have to do is show them this badge, and he sort of pats at his armor to say that he is a member of the Fighters Guild. You can get free room and board at any Fighters Guild around the continent, and any Fighters Guild can give you work around the local areas of those cities. So it's not a bad way to make money, but you do have to formally resign, and you'll never be allowed back in if you break the oath. And he's like shouting very loudly now at the top of the stairs. So does this sound agreeable? Do you want to be a full-fledged member, you and your friend, of the Fighters Guild?
Is there a cost?
No cost. We take all hands that we can get. Disclaimer, the jobs are dangerous, so we don't charge an upfront cost because the chances are you won't live to see the following year. So we don't rub salt in the wound. You can sort of see that he's afraid of losing you as an initiate, but he does want to be upfront with the risk and dangers of being a Fighters Guild member.
Okay, we'll join it.
Awesome. So Hobbs nods, or you look at me, I look at you, and he's like, great, let's get your rack set up. So he leads you upstairs and is on his way down with his duffel bag already and clunking down the stairs. He's like, so long, don't forget to write. And he's out the front door, out he goes. And he points to two beds in the corner on the second floor of the Fighters Guild. And he's like, so these are your bunks. Feel free to unload your stuff. We've got foot lockers here that you can stow your gear. Thievery is highly looked down upon between guild members, and it is an immediate expulsion, and you're turned into the city guard. So, you know, everyone sleeps together, everyone dines together. Don't go screwing your buddy. Fair?
Okay.
So he walks us back downstairs, and he hands us the formal writ of contract. Dangerous rat problem, it says, and he unrolls it and hands it to you. On the parchment, you see, get with Venice. She has a rat issue. She is in house number 6, and you can see on your map this is her place. She needs Fighters Guild assistance for a rat problem, and that's all it says. So he pats you on the back, and he's like, well, Initiate, if you get this job done, and she gives you a seal of approval, it's 100 gold pieces each for this particular job. So no timetable, just try to get it done quickly, because, you know, we don't want our review score to go down. We want people to count on us, so let's do some good work. And he sort of pushes you out the door, closes it behind you, and we are now standing back in the street center. What would you like?
So we need to go to house 6.
House 6. So we make our way to house 6. Let's grab your mini so you sort of know. So you walk up to it's a multi-level house, very narrow. It's sort of built up like San Francisco, as you can see, house on house on house. But the front little garden is manicured nicely, a few flowers there, and there is a blue door with a door knocker.
Okay, knock the door.
Knock the door, and an elderly wood elf answers. She's got gray hair, and she's like, yes, who are you?
This is Hobbs, and I'm Bra. We're here to take care of your rat problem.
Oh, Fighters Guild, come in. So she ushers you in, and she's like, so, in the basement, my rats are being attacked, and I need you to get that creature out of there.
I thought we were killing the rats.
Now don't you dare touch my babies.
What creature is it?
I heard the snarling and growling, and rats don't snarl, they don't growl. They eat and they squeak, and they're very cute. Get that growling thing out of my basement.
They also transmit the plague, woman.
The plague? No, not my babies. I've never been... I've never been sick. Anyway, are you going to deal with my problem or not?
We'll go take a look.
All right, so she shows you downstairs, and down a flight of stairs you can see her basement door, and she's like, don't come back until that thing is dead.
Head downstairs, I guess.
Head downstairs, awesome. So as you and I head downstairs, we open the door to a light squeak, and the basement itself is pretty dim, pretty dark, but you can see around you barrels and things of, storage space, and there is 3 dead rats right in front of you, and you hear this sort of low...
Do we have, like, lanterns?
Yes, in your Ventures pack, you do have a torch.
Okay, so we fire that puppy
Fire up the torch. Woof! The rats scurry. You can hear the squeaking of the rats trying to get in each corner, and you are blindsided by a wolf. It is time to roll initiative. So what that means is it's time for combat. Now, because it's just one creature, I'm not going to pull out like a big old battle map and dungeon. I mean, it's just a basement with one creature. It's a one-on-one fight to sort of get you introduced. But your initiative modifier is +1. So you will take your d20 roll and you will add 1 to it. And this will determine the order that we are going to go in. So let me know what your number is.
13.
13. And I rolled a 15. So the wolf strikes you. So what I have to do is I have to roll versus your armor class. Now,
Hey, that's a big-ass piece.
yeah, that's the DM's dice. So basically, in a normal game of D&D, this would be behind a screen, and you would never know whether or not I'm fudging my rolls or not. But because I'm transparent, because I'm also playing, I'm going to roll out in the open so you can see how the dice lie. So the wolf reaches up for a bite attack. And that thing is weighted 11 plus his bite. That is going to be a +5 to hit, so a 16 versus your armor class, which is a 15. He does hit, and that is going to be 2d6 +3 piercing damage. So this may, in fact, be the end of you. Hopefully not. Hopefully I roll low. So as the dice roll, 7, that's 10 damage off. You're down to 3 hit points. So,
Son of a bitch.
So let me roll up, or let me pull out, actually, my saved character sheet so I can get in on this piece. So my level 1 Warlock Hobbs has a 0 initiative. Let's see where I fall in the order here. So that's going to be 16 plus 0. So... yeah, I'll go next, and what I will do is I will cast Eldritch Blast this guy as a cantrip.
How do you get more hit points?
We can take a short rest, which is a 1 hour basically. We stop in the Fighter's Guild, we take a breather, and you get to roll your d12 again to gain that number of hit points, and then a long rest is basically we sleep through the night and we gain everything back. So we rest, or we can find healing potions or healing spells. But since I'm using my Warlock, I'm going to do some damage. So I will try to hit it with a 1d10 force damage. That is going to be a +5 spell attack bonus versus its armor class. And that is a 7 plus 5.
13.
13 just misses. So I shoot a bolt of green lightning. You see Hobbs shoot green lightning at this wolf, and it definitely goes to the side and starts to snarl. So now it is your turn. So you'll take your d20 here, and you will add your +5 for your sword because you're coming down on it, and to see if you hit that wolf. So you come down with your great sword. Are you using two-handed?
Yeah.
Awesome. So come down on it. So a 4 plus 5 is 9. You swing and the wolf bounces back again. The wolf will reach back and try to attack me now that he sees that a big green honking thing has a shot at it. And that is going to be nice. 3 plus 5. I because of my armor class of 13, deftly dodge out of the way. I will fire back with more Eldritch Blast to try to frickin' cook this guy. Natural frickin' 20. So, I will roll a D10 and double it. So this could be the end of old Woofy McGee. 18. Nice. So 18. Boop. Awesome. So I hit it with a blast of Eldritch Fire, and then you went after me, correct? Yeah, because it tried to bite me and missed, and I hit it with Eldritch Blast. So taking your two-handed sword, we've got him in a corner. You grab your great sword and give her a swing. And then add 5 to this roll. Yep. Add 5 to the roll.
Jesus.
8. The wolf misses. He goes to swing at me since he hasn't hit me yet. I'm sort of playing the field here. So 12 plus 5 against my armor class. I only have 10 hit points. This might not be good. 2d6. Please be low. Oof. So 9. So I'm barely standing. I've got 1 hit point left. But now it's my turn. We're going to Eldritch Blast the crap out of it again. Nice. 12 plus 5 will hit. We roll our 1d10 for force damage. And that's another 2. All right. On your greatsword, give her a swing. If you can roll a 20, that would be awesome. 18, you hit it. So roll your 1d8 and add 3. Your d8 is this diamond right there. So you'll roll that and add 3 to your roll. So that's 6 total.
And I'll add that what?
I already added it for you.
Oh, okay.
So the wolf is looking really, really hurt. It's got pain in its eyes, and it is going...
How's a wolf getting some chick's basement?
That's for us to find out. Actually, it's good that you asked that question. That's part of our overarching mission. Some more behind-the-curtain stuff. The wolf is going to try to blast it upstairs as he is bloody and beaten. He is going to move 50 feet, and he's going to dart up the stairs. Did we close the door behind us? I don't remember if we did or not.
I don't remember if you said it or not.
I don't think we did. You hear this scream from upstairs. This poor old woman. She's going to try to hit it.
She did.
She's going to try to hit it with her fist. She's going to try to defend everything she's got. 14! That hits! She pops that wolf on the nose for a 1d4 plus her strength modifier. Come on, little d4, do some damage. 4 points plus her strength of 1. That's 5 more damage on that wolf. She pops the crap out of that wolf, and now the wolf just squeaks. We run upstairs. It is now my turn. We're going to try to blast it with Eldritch Blast and save this poor old woman. This is not going to plan. Nice. 11 plus 5. That's going to hit. Blast it with another D10 force damage. Dang it. Another 2 damage. But it is looking hurt. Like, it is bleeding. It is wanting to flee. Every instance of your animal handling skill says this wolf is trying to bolt. You can go ahead and try to finish her off. Roll that D20. Add 5. Try to beat a 14. 19. So close. So, yeah, you hit it. Roll this D10. No, this is the D10 since you're going double-handed. And just don't screw it up. Add 3. 8 plus 3. You bring the sword down right at the base of the neck, and the wolf lets out one final gasping scoot as it coughs and falls to the floor, dead. You and I look at each other, huffing and puffing, bleeding within an inch of our lives. And the poor old woman has blood on her as well from the bleeding wolf, and she's like, Was was that the thing in the basement?
Yep.
How did it even get in there?
What? Hell if we know.
Could technically your job is done. I'll pass on word to the Fighters Guild that there's a job well done. But rest assured, this mission, it isn't over. Thank you for saving me. If it isn't too much trouble, could you see how the wolf got in my basement, if you please?
That'll cost a little extra.
Of course, I'll put in a brand new work order. It's fine. I'll send word to the Fighters Guild that this is a brand new job. Rest assured, you will be paid upon your completion. But please, how did this wolf get in my basement? What do you do?
Well, we didn't really look around the parameters.
Right, we didn't. So if you want to go back down to the basement.
Yeah, so we'll go.
So we go back down to the basement. The rats have sort of crawled out of their hiding spot, getting away from this wolf, and they're not attacking. They look actually like pretty docile rats. They look pretty chill. But around, roll an investigation check. So that is your D20 here. Add your investigation skill. That is going to be a -1, so I might have to help you with this since I'm also investigating. 3. So you look around and you say, yes, it is a room. I roll a 7, and what's my investigation skill? A 7 plus investigation is a 3, so a 10. And I nudge over and, bruh, and I nod my head, and you can see beneath the stone, at the base, right at where the ground meets the stone wall, there is some loose dirt, and it looks like a wolf of that size could have wedged himself under this hole.
Okay, so we have an answer.
We do indeed. So what do we do?
So we walk back upstairs and tell the old lady.
All right. So you say
we found a hole in the foundation of your basement.
A hole? How? I bet it was that damn quill weave. I would bet it's that damn quill weave. Well, thank you for doing that. I'll get a contractor in to cover that up. As just an old lady, I don't exactly know what would withstand a wolf of that size. Any repair job I could do would be substandard by nature. But definitely. Thank you for everything that you've done, and I'll put in word to the Fighters Guild of an excellent job, and even you saved my life. I mean, there has to be some extra in that for sure.
All right.
So what do we do?
I guess we go back to the Fighters Guild and collect their payment.
Cool. So we wander to door 15, and we open the door, and Azan is there training, and he looks at both of us, who are bloodied and dragging in, and he's like, my gods, what happened to you two?
Well, we just fought off a huge wolf.
A wolf? I thought you were doing the rat job.
Well, that's where the wolf was.
And Azan looks like really confused. That's where the wolf was. So instead of rats, they were wolves, or?
There was a wolf in the basement where the rats were.
And did you at least take care of the rats?
Oh yeah, I guess we were technically supposed to kill the rats, huh?
Well, that's what Azan thinks.
Well, no, turns out the lady didn't want us to kill the rats, only the wolf.
So about that time, the old woman appears at the Fighters Guild, and she's like, Azan, these two fine gentlemen, please, they did an amazing job, and they saved my babies. And now Azan is looking as confused as you were. You didn't want the rats killed. Oh, no, I'd never, never. But they did do an excellent job with that wolf. Please, they did an amazing job. And another thing, if you could contract them to do some further investigations, I'd like to hire the Fighters Guild to investigate this matter further, as a hole doesn't just simply appear beneath a house, if you get my meaning. So consider it another job that these fine gents can do in the future for me, to see the origin of this hole. Maybe they can figure something out, but excellent job. And she smiles at both of us and waves and says, thank you so much again. Azan says, well, I'll be damned. Okay, so he goes to the, now you see where the payment chest of the Fighters Guild is, right in the corner of the training room, and he unlocks the training chest, and he pulls out 2 pouches, one for me, one for you. Each one, plop, plop, has about 100 gold in it, so you can write down on your character sheet 134 gold pieces. And I'll write down 100 gold pieces, as Hobbs came with some gold, but didn't collect it. So 134 gold. And he's like, yeah, and you guys kick up your feet. You guys look like you took one heck of a beating. So get some food, get some grub, get some rest. You've earned it. You don't have to. I have to fill out the official contract in the meantime before you guys go off and do that other job for. So please feel free to rest. So he goes back to training, and we are left to our own devices. It's about 1 in the afternoon, I would say now, so there's still time to shop or rest for an hour. Take a short rest, get some hit points back if you'd like, and during a short rest you will roll 1d12. So you'll grab this guy, or is this a d10? Yeah, your d12 is this octagon looking dice right there. You'll roll that and then add your constitution modifier, which is 1, and that's how many hit points you can get back with a short rest.
Okay, we'll do that.
Cool. So we'll short rest. You'll go down to 0 hit die until we actually sleep. Then you'll get that hit die back. So go ahead and roll your d12. And that is going to be 11 plus 1 hit points back. So yeah, you maxed out. That hour of short rest gets you back up to 13 hit points. And then I'll roll my d8 and add my constitution of plus 2. And that is a 6 plus 2, so I get 8 hit points back. I'm at 9 out of 10. So as we chillax, there's some grub, there's some stew upstairs. The kitchen is just off the barracks. So me and you grab some stew, we sit, we relax, we kick back, take our boots off, chill on the bed for an hour. It's now 2 in the afternoon, and we are feeling much, much better than we were an hour ago for sure.
So now what?
It's up to you. It's 2 in the afternoon. We could do some shopping. We could do we could go back to the smugglers.
I was gonna say, what's his name left, or should have left since we took his job. So
we could see. We could ask around, or we could go to Azan and see if he left. He may be still hanging around town. We can't be sure, but we could ask around and see.
Yeah, we'll do that. I got like maybe about another 20 minutes.
Cool. So we'll tie up this bow nice and easy. So we go downstairs, and there's Azan, and he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about the food. It's not the best quality, but we don't exactly have an established cook. But you guys do look much better. I have the official contract draft written up right here," and he hands it to you. Feel free to partake if you'd like. And you look down, the contract says, find the origin of the hole, inquire and possibly deal with the reason that this hole was made. So we're essentially sort of investigators as far as that's concerned. And you do remember that she mentioned a name of Quillweave as a possible suspect numero uno.
Well, we're going to go back to the smugglers?
We can. Absolutely, we can. If you'd like.
Because
now that he's left town?
Yeah.
Cool. So we make our way out of gate 2, down to the dock, and you see the deckhand like perks up and waves, and he ushers you on the ship.
Yeah, we need to see the captain.
Yes, we do. So once again, he knocks on the door. Rap, 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 rap. Captain, the new hires are back. So Captain Antium opens the door, and he's, come in. So what news do you have of Maven?
Maven is no more.
No more, really? So we don't have to worry about him ever again?
I don't think he'll be coming around these parts.
All right. Where'd you stuff him, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't give away my secrets.
Roll a deception check. So
On the
that will
20?
on the 20. Let's see if he appreciates your candor or if he's really thinking that you're holding something back. 16. He's like, fair enough. In our line of work, one smuggler to another, we don't give away our secrets. Well, as long as he's not coming back, I think we can welcome you as an official member of the crew, and there was some monetary compensation if I do remember correctly. And he goes to his ledger and he hands you a stack of 25 gold to myself and you. So you
All
can
right.
put 159 gold pieces. And now that we don't have to worry about that sunflower-haired idiot, we can go about our business a little bit more, let's say, enthusiastically. I'm feeling really, really good about this next shipment. We're leaving off in a few days' time to sail around the southern coast, passing up through Leowin and ending up in the Imperial City. So will you be joining us on that cruise, or
You're leaving in a couple days?
couple days time? We're leaving out on Friday. It's Wednesday now, but Friday morning, sunrise, we are setting off for the Imperial City. It'll be about a week and a half journey around the mainland. So if you're not used to ship life, and remember your background.
Which I have very high ship life.
Sure. So do
So-
you talk to him about your life on your previous ship?
No, I just, I'll think it over for the next day and
Yeah.
come back and let you know.
Cool. Fair enough. The offer stands. Once again, I would appreciate your discretion. If a bunch of Fighters Guild hoo-has start showing up, we'll have no choice but to hunt you down and leave you for dead. And he sort of laughs and cackles and he slaps his knee, and he thought that was pretty funny, just to himself. And right, our business here is concluded. I'll see you in a couple days, perhaps. If not, see what you can find in the meantime. Maybe you can get us a bigger score than even I know of. Keep your ear to the ground. If you come across something juicy, by all means, let me know.
All right, will do.
Cool. So he opens the door and ushers us out, and we are now back on the dock outside the sea tub. It's about 3 o'clock now in the afternoon. The sun is just heading right behind the lighthouse, casting some long shadows in the bay.
Okay, we'll go back to House 6 and talk to the old lady about who Quillweave is.
Cool. So you head up to door 6, and there is the door knocker in front of you.
Knock on the door.
Cool. She answers, and she's like, "Oh, good. You've accepted the new contract, yes?"
Yes. Who's Quillweave?
And you see her, and she looks to her left, she looks to her right, she pulls us in a little bit closer, and she puts her arm around your neck, and she points at her neighbor's house, house number 5, and she whispers, "That Argonian wench lives right next door."
So that's Quillweave?
That's Quillweave's house. Oh, crap! I just bamfed off in outer space. It's okay. We'll bring that back next session. We won't need a map to finish up.
Where did it go?
It bamfed off in outer space. I think the physics clipped through and it just shot off the board into outer space. So, but she says, yeah. Quillweave lives
next
right
to me.
there. She's an Argonian woman. If you're not familiar with these parts, Argonian are a lizard people, green-skinned, scaly, and she sort of looks at you and she's like, kind of your demeanor, not dragon by any means, but sort of lizard. Green skin, she thinks she's all up and up, all hoity-toity. She's playing rich, if you ask me, and she has had it out for me ever since she moved in. I don't know what she's got against me, but she is responsible for this. I know it.
Well, why would she create a hole in your foundation?
I don't know. Maybe she thinks like you do, and she squints her eyes, that rats are dirty and dangerous. She doesn't like them, that much is for sure. She even started a petition to get rid of my babies in town. Why can't she just leave well enough alone?
We'll go see what we can find out.
I appreciate it, greatly appreciate it. And when you find out that it's her, let me know. and I will go straight to the Fighters Guild, and we will deal with this. Thank you, thank you. And she pats us both on the shoulder, and she closes her door ever so quietly.
Okay. So then we go to house
Next
number
door,
5.
house number 5. So there's the door knocker right in front of you.
Okay, knock on it.
So after a few moments, you hear, "Coming, coming." And she opens the door, and she's like, No, I don't want any today.
We're not here to sell you anything.
Oh, good. There's so many people try to sell me random stuff. I just came into money. If you don't know, I'm a recent widower, and my husband owned half this town. So, as you can imagine, I'm very popular around here, and people think they can just leech off of me.
I'm not from here. What happened to your husband?
Oh, unfortunately, he was on a traveling caravan, selling wares. He was a prominent trader. He knew Morvain. I don't know if you knew or saw Morvain's peacemakers down the way, but he was in business with Morvain, an accomplished smith, and he was on his way to the Imperial City on the Gold Road, and he was jumped by bandits, and unfortunately, he didn't survive. No one really did. We lost everything that day, but and you can see she's starting to tear up, and she wipes a little bit, and she's like, I'm sorry that I'm not used to revisiting that day, but I appreciate your concern.
Well, we just have a couple of questions.
Sure. How can I help you? Do you want to purchase anything while you're here?
No.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you get along with your neighbor in house 6?
And she looks over, and she's like, "Why do you ask?"
We have some reason for concern that you might be at odds.
Okay, roll a persuasion check. So take your d20, add 1 to your persuasion to see if she breaks. 9. Nice. Whenever there was a clutch roll, she's like, "It's her rats. Steaming, dirty. Who keeps rats as pets anyway? No woman of my stature should live next to some crazy old hag who keeps a vermin as pets."
Well, I don't disagree, but do you know anything about a wolf around these parts?
Wolves, no. I know nothing.
Are you sure?
Roll an insight check. So insight is what you roll if you think someone is lying or you want to get a little bit deeper to read their facial expressions. So here's your d20. And then you'll add 0 due to your insight skill. And then I might actually help out on this roll as my insight is +4 and I'm proficient. So you roll an 11. Let me roll 1.
And I needed and I know what.
I've got the number in my head on what would be a success. I rolled a 14, and I sort of nudge you with my elbow. I haven't said anything, but I've got the indication that she is really holding something back. But she's not going to be forthright about it. So I
keep poking her.
Usually checks like this go one and done, so we'll come up with another way to try to ascertain the truth.
Do you mind if we come in? How about that?
Oh, well, I don't normally invite folks into my home. Roll a persuasion check. We'll see how accommodating we seem to be, as you are a 6-foot-tall, scaly dragonborn.
Oh, I didn't really get that.
Yeah,
very well.
give it a good roll. There you go. And that is it's reading 1, but it's kind of cocked on its side. Roll it again. It's like I kind of want to give you the 17. I want you to succeed. There's the 17, the true 17. So your persuasion was +1, 18. She's like, "Well, you seem like nice kids, and if you can help me get rid of those rats, all the better." And she pushes us in her house. The layout is much the same. There's a stairway up to the 2nd floor, stairway down to the basement, and she invites us up to the top floor. And in her dining area, you can see fine china and silver. The fireplace is lit, extravagant red velvet couch, and she offers us a seat on her red velvet couch. Please have a seat. We can.
So we have a seat.
Okay. So she's like, so about my unclean neighbor.
So I guess ask again. Are you sure you haven't seen any wolves?
There are wolves around town. That much is for sure. There's a hunter outside of town that tries to keep the wolf population at bay, but sometimes he's just not so successful.
Well, your neighbor had a hole in her foundation that I don't think a wolf could have created on its own.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Are you?
Roll an insight check. That would be a +0. Needing a big roll here. If you can roll that 20, 3. So you think she's telling the truth. I'll roll an insight check. That's a cocked as all get out. And I think she's telling the truth. So as far as you and I are concerned, she is sorry that a wolf got in that hole. But
you were nudging me earlier.
Yeah, it's like I knew she was holding on to something, but now I'm thinking that she didn't do it. Like, we knew that she was upset at the neighbor, but as far as knowing that the hole was there, we don't think that it was her, or we don't think, based on those checks, that she knows anything.
Mm.
And she goes on to say, you know, I'm sure no rats would pose you any threat. If you were to do me a favor and get rid of those rats, having powerful friends in a city would prove useful.
Okay, what's in it for us?
As a former colleague of Morvine's Pacemakers, we could give you a discount at your weapons and armor shop. If you ever needed and she looks at your sword, any maintenance work on your sword, or perhaps a new magical weapon, Morvane's would be more than happy to give you a discount. As far as my pool, I could open some doors for you. And of course, there's my pockets are always full. I'm sure that if you were to help out with my caravans out to the Imperial City, if you came on as my bodyguards, you could make decent money and see the countryside, as it were, taking my wares from town to town.
All right. Well, we can take a discount.
A discount is always good for adventuring types like you. And she smiles and she nods and she says, "So, do we have a deal?"
Do I need new armor or new weapons?
We haven't actually took a look at what the shop has to offer. We just know that he's the local smith in town, and if we do this job, Morvane will give us a discount as, a good friend of a former colleague. I mean, Morvane may have a bunch just of crap that we would never buy. We actually haven't looked inside yet, so we don't know what Morvane has.
Nah, we'll just be on our way.
Oh, so sad. Okay, well, let me show you to the door. And she stands up and walks us to the door and leads us out. And she says, "If you ever change your mind," and she glances over at the house, her neighbor, "feel free to let me know." And she closes the door.
All right.
So, it is now 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The oranges and reds of the sky are starting to fill the anvil air, and torches are starting to be lit along the city streets. If Morvane's is still open for another hour or two, if you wanted to check that out before shacking up for the night.
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool. So we walk towards the town square, which was located right about here, where that tree was, and you see the sign, the anvil and the cross swords with Morvane's Peacemakers on it, and the door is open. We walk inside, and the bell dings on the door, and you see a dark elf, green skin, bright red eyes, no very, very small pupils. The whites of his eyes are red, white mohawk, and he's wearing like heavy, stacked, chinked and bruised armor. It looks like it's been through the ringer, like he has fought and fought and fought in this armor, and he says, "Good day to you, Morvane's Peacemakers, here at your service. How can I interest you folks?"
Oh, we're just here to look around.
Certainly, and he opens up his drawer. You see some long swords there. You see a battle axe. You see a few daggers, a few knickknacks, some healing potions in stock, and you also see a shining mace. Now, this mace is sort of a club, and it's sort of got a purple glowing tint to it. As it's sitting there, this wood is permeating light. So,
How much is this?
So you point at the club? He's
Yeah.
like, yes, this is my prized possession, the Truncheon of Submission. This little baby runs for 3,076 gold. Do you do that?
Yeah.
He's like, well, it's not the first time I've heard such things. It is a high price, but this is imbued with magic, good sir. It restores health upon hit 20 hit points. So you beat somebody with this, and you get a little health back. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And he puts it back down on the counter. Now, if you were the sneaky sort.
Steal it? That's what I was going to say, is can you just, like, take stuff?
Yes, you can. Keep in mind the consequences of your actions, but Morvain has to sleep sometime. That is completely up to you. So now you know where a unique magic item is located. Did you want any healing potions or anything like that while we were here, while we were browsing?
No, but
Cool.
we can always come back and try to
We
sneak.
can. Morvain is here. So, will that conclude your business with Morvain?
Yes.
Cool. So he bids you good day. Remember, I doubt this thing is going anywhere for a while, but if you're ever in need of a good weapon, think of Morvain's piece, pook, and you shut the door. So, night is starting to fall. It's about 5 o'clock. Do you call it an early day? Try to get your rest, because if you're wanting to sneak in at the cover of night, we need 8 hours to get a long rest. Otherwise, we suffer points of exhaustion, and our characters start getting pretty tired.
Yeah.
So with that, we go upstairs, and the first day in Anvil is complete. We've made friends with the smugglers, we've made friends with the Fighters Guild, we've made friends with a crummy old lizard lady who wants some rats dead, and we know where a secret item or a magical item is in town, and we will call it there for the evening.